Welcome to Magical Moments for that ease and that betterment in your life that you so deserve. I'm your host, Alena Chapman, and I'm all about that soul wisdom and your growth. I've got a magical nugget for you today, and this actually came from a client, a beautiful woman who has accomplished so many challenges in her life. And you know what? She didn't love herself. She didn't give herself credit. And how often do we go through our lives, one challenge after another, one goal setting after another, maybe making a mistake or not being able to achieve that goal. And we're too quick to punish ourselves. But we don't take the time to love ourselves for who we are. And you say, Elena, yeah, right. We hear this all the time, but how do we do it? Okay, in this little magical nugget, I decided to give you an exercise. I gave her this exercise, and it really does work. So what I want you to do is to sit down with your favorite beverage. A hot cup of tea is always mine. So you can get a hot cup of tea or whatever it is. I'm not going to judge. And sit down in a nice comfy place. If you have a sacred space, that's even better because it opens up your mind. Get a pad of paper and write down the things that you have done in your life that you are proud of. Maybe you've had bullying when you were a child. Well, maybe you conquered that bullying. Maybe you had a difficult situation or a difficult relationship, but you got yourself together and you pulled yourself out of it. Give yourself credit, write it down. Maybe it's just the acts of kindness that you do. Write them down. Now, when you're done with that exercise, which should feel good, then put it on your mirror in your bathroom so that every morning and every evening you see it. Make sure you look at it. Don't ignore it. I know how we can be. Look at it and read it, and then thank yourself. And add one more thing. During the day, if you find that you do something cool, whether that's saying hello to a tree or helping a person across the street or whatever it is, or maybe you accomplish something, say to yourself, thank you. Okay? And you will find that you will start seeing the value in yourself with that. Those little tiny things I just gave you to do. Okay. Now, I hope that helps. All right. Hey, I've got a fabulous guest for you today. All the way. I mean, he's around the world. So this is going to be so cool. His name is David Fernando. And he'll probably correct me on that, but that's what I came up with. He is currently the president of the Association Echo Park, an international nonprofit based in San Sebastian. And that organization focuses on ocean conservation and environmental preservation. The special area that they like to involve in is islands. And he actually lives on Evolution Island. He is called David the Indian because of a legendary story that Chiron created. He is a Chiron follower and master. He has been appointed an ambassador of the Chiron Circle of 1, 2, or 12. His responsibility is to assist humanity in evolving consciously, to tell the absolute truth and to back it up. And we love this with science and math proofs. And with that, I'd like to have David on. Hello, David. And David, would you pronounce your last name for me right off the bat so we get it right?
Yes, Elena. My last name is Ferdinand. Just like the child's story. I tell everyone, Elena, I am not about violence. I like smelling the flowers.
I do too.
I like the magical moments of life in nature. It was so wonderful that you gave the introduction. Thank you so much for inviting me here to speak with the audience and yourself.
Love having
and I think we're going to have a wonderful time, and magical moments are definitely ahead for everybody.
Isn't it? It really is. You just have to open your eyes and there they are. So how did you reach this point in your life where, the Chiron and the consciousness, what was your awakening? What got you just to say, oh my gosh, what was that moment?
Actually, that moment for me, it didn't happen like in one moment. It was a transitional period. Since 2010, Alena, I've been living here. I'm a U.S. citizen from Rhode Island, and so
Really? Wow. That's
it's a really,
amazing.
really interesting story how I came here. But in 2010, my spiritual journey began, and I don't know if you heard about ayahuasca.
Oh God,
Have
yeah.
you heard about
I
ayahuasca?
have. Yes, I
A,
have.
a
Shamans use
shaman?
it. For our
Yeah,
listeners, the shamans use it number one, it's a great healer, but it brings forth and it opens your eyes to things that you have never seen. Now, it's not like some of the drugs we use now. It really is used medicinally for shamans to open us up, to heal us, and also to reveal our truth. So yeah,
that
yeah.
That's
So
that's correct. So I'm like you said, I live here on Evolution Island. That's our brand. The actual name of this place is called Isla das Govis, San Sebastian, in the city of San Sebastian. So the GPS coordinates when you look for the location like Google Maps or Google Earth is Isla das Govis, San Sebastian. But for us, it's all about evolution and evolution of consciousness. This is a fabulous location in the background. I don't know if you can see, but the mountain range is right here.
it's absolutely beautiful.
It's absolutely breathtaking. It's for me, Alena. I did a lot of research in my career. I was a developer of hotels and resorts and casinos. And
Oh,
when I originally came here, I thought that we were going to build a boutique hotel, and I had my whole perception has changed. Let's put it to you that way.
I
It
guess. Yeah.
for me, the evolution is an evolution of consciousness that needs to happen first. Anything outside of that is really an illusion. If
Yes.
Krista said, one of the podcasts you were on, I'm awake. Now what? That's the
Yes.
big question. You know,
Yes.
our whole society is waking up. We're talking about millions and billions of people now have information. For example, the information that you're exchanging right now with your podcast, Magical Moments. That is an
Right.
open channel of communication of pure consciousness and pure love and pure intention. And
Yes.
if you multiply your efforts by a thousand or a million people, there's a lot of podcasts and everyone's talking about love,
Yeah.
because the reality is we have one of two choices to make, Alena, in our lives. We can love or we can fear. Those are the only two
Yes.
choices.
I know.
And,
Yep.
and so
And they're polar opposites. And they're polar opposites. Thing is, if I can interrupt you for just a minute, because the listeners, I have two questions, but let's start with this one. Um, it love and fear are polar opposites. They're just the energy is just as strong because they're polar opposites, right? And they hold their ground, right? So that fear is just as addicting as love, and love is different. It has a different feeling, but it's just as strong. So where where is our society right now? We have a lot of, my gosh, David, let's look at this. Come on. We have been through pandemic, we've been through drama, 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 drama. Then when we don't even have to look at drama, what do? We turn on Johnny Depp and Amber trials and we get more drama. Are actually we're searching out for the fear and for the anger and for all that polar opposite of love, right?
yes,
So there's a lot of us spreading the news, but when you try to talk to a person who's in that situation, who's in that world, they think they're real. They think we're in La La Land.
that's
So,
correct.
yeah, I know. I've been doing this a little while. So, and I've even had someone, you're going to find this interesting. I actually had someone tell me, I was in a group, it was supposedly a spiritual awakening group. And he said that fear is wisdom. Now, when you're faced with this kind of thing, and there is a population, a major part of the population that's looking at that, what do you say?
What do I say to people?
Yeah.
It's very simple, Alena, because just like Krista said, hey, I'm awake. Now what? That's what
Yeah.
people are dying for, is the direction. in a direction that is based in science and mathematics. And so what I say to people, what we say to people, and how we kind of help guide and coach people spiritually is the first thing that you need to do is stop. Just stop and be still for a moment. And then ask yourself, is life a blessing or is life a curse? And if life is a blessing, you are headed in the right direction. You may not have arrived yet, but you are headed in the right direction. Like, for example, your life, you know that you went away from source and now you've returned. The only way you know that the source existed is because you were separated. You went through an initiation process of trial and error. You had to overcome adversity. You went through divorce. You went through rejection, abandonment, and all of the fear about death. You had people in your life like your parents that died and passed away, and other people. So you have experience. You gained the wisdom. After separation, the initiation for you was complete. Then you return to source because that's where you know your heart is, and that's where you know love is. Everything in quantum physics, this is the science component. In quantum physics, it says one simple principle, that everything comes from nothing and nowhere. It's very simple, but it's a hard thing for us to imagine. Everything comes from nothing. So we have a theory and a philosophy called point zero zero absolute. Point zero zero absolute is a GPS coordinate. You can go on Google and type in word search point zero zero, and you will come across a physical location off the coast of Africa. It's actually an island. They call it Null Island. It exists. And that also is called the soul. I didn't make this up. This is facts. Go on Google and fact check what I'm explaining.
Yeah, but, no, Alena, I have. It's true.
But our psychological cultural programming and training says nothing is not a good place. Nothing is where death is. The last thing you want to be, Alena, is zero. We all have been trained to be number one. Athletically, performance-wise, competitively, we have been trained to be separate. And we've been trained to have the fear of God in us, so that if we do not conform to all of the people around us and all of the programming, we look like we're idiots and we look like we're foolish. Like you say, here I am happy and content, but the people around me are rejecting me because they don't like happiness. They don't know how to deal with happiness and joy and love. So but at point zero zero absolute, it's all darkness. At the 0 point, there is no movement. There is no sound. There is no music. At the absolute 0 point, it's total stillness. But what is there is pure love and pure creation. So what we say to people is, Alena, if you're awake, congratulations. That's the first step. Now, what to do is the question. All you need to do is stop. Ask yourself, is life a blessing or a curse? If the answer is a blessing, you're good to go. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're on the path. But if you say that life is a curse, life is miserable, we have coronavirus, and all the excuses come up, that's a signal that to stop and turn around. All you need to do is turn around, and then what will happen is nature will take its course, and you will gravitationally flow to zero. All it is a matter of surrender and letting go and unfolding and becoming empty. A lot of people are afraid of being empty because they think they're going to lose everything. But at point zero zero absolute, Alena, there is no negative zero. You cannot get less than point zero zero absolute. And it's important that to use all 4 of those coordinates. It's just like GPS. The GPS point zero zero is only 2 coordinates. But what we train people is to use a 5-dimension coordinate. We need more detail. This is not a religious belief. This is a mathematical theory that Einstein was working on before he passed away. He was trying to prove that the 0 point was where all matter, dark matter and dark energy is at zero in the
Yeah.
darkness.
Yeah.
99% of our reality is dark. 1% is light. So we are all trained to vibrate higher and to go to the light. Actually, that is the upside down. It's easier just to go into the darkness, into the bliss, into the ocean of consciousness.
Mhm.
When you are there, you get totally re-energized, and you have trust and confidence, so that when you step outside of zero, the 0.00 absolute, once you make a movement, that's when life happens, and light happens, in sound, in music, in dance, in art,
Mhm.
in all creation comes from the 0.00 absolute, what we call the womb of zero. Coming
Yeah.
to zero is not enough, Alena. We can go directly to the heart and to the pulse of consciousness. And it's very simple. We go from the fourth dimension. See, people think we're in the third dimension. That's not true. The
No.
third dimension is a geometric configuration. It doesn't have movement. The fourth dimension is the geometric length, width, and height, a cube, or a ball, like a circle, but it has
Right. Right.
mass. The
Yeah.
fourth dimension is like what we're doing. We're moving. We're communicating. We are in the fourth dimension right now. Most people think we're in the third dimension. That's not true. The
Yeah.
third
They do.
dimension is geometric. The second dimension is a circle. It takes the mass out of it, and it's only one plane. So the second dimension is a circle. The first dimension is a geometric line. It's point A to point B. It's a straight line.
Linear. Yes.
Linear.
Yeah.
A direct, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. And that's what we try to teach people, is to unfold from the fourth dimension, third dimension, second dimension, first dimension, and then come to the zero dimension. Do you know
Mhm.
what the zero dimension is?
You tell me. Go ahead.
The zero dimension is if you take the line and you turn it so it faces you, instead of having 2 points, you only have 1 point. And so it's the strangest thing to have zero dimensions equals a point. You are a point. I'm a point. Everything is a point. In the zero dimension, when you move is when you create music and sound. Any movement, and our consciousness and our mental cognitive behavior, that's what we do. We're designed as three-dimensional animated figures to actually make movement. And that's why you see light all around us. You don't see the darkness. The darkness is within inside of us. So the journey is to unfold, to surrender, and to use gravity to come to zero. Once you're at zero, you become superhuman. You have clairvoyance, and you use your clear senses in your third eye, in the middle of your forehead. In the third eye is when it rotates backwards and beams of light to your pineal gland, and you can see in the dark.
Yeah.
That's the
You can.
purpose.
That is
Most
very
of us
much.
think,
Yeah.
most of us think, Alena, that the higher we go in our chakras, from the lower chakra to the crown chakra, that we are vibrating higher. That is not the reality, because when you
Yeah.
look
I've
at
never
the
heard
color,
that, but yes. Yes.
yeah, it's very strange. The problem we are having right now is the information that we have is inverted.
Yeah.
We're upside down. The fact is that
Yeah.
the way the chakras work, the lower chakra is the red color, which is the highest vibration, is in your lower chakra. When you look at the color scheme in the light spectrum for the chakras, at the crown of your head is purple, is ultraviolet. The next step from ultraviolet is darkness, is black. See,
Right.
we think that in our crown, the energy comes out and we're illuminated through our head, and that the focus is in the heaven, like heaven is in the sky. So when you say to somebody, where is heaven? People point up or look upward. But the reality is the heaven that we're talking about, in the magical moments that are possible, are at zero, are in darkness, are in darkness. That's where everything happens.
It's very hard for people to understand this. So I'm trying to, in my mind, we all know that, at the very beginning, folks, that everything came from darkness. And with a thought, things were created, if you're going by scripture. So we're talking about that darkness, and it's not the scary darkness. It's actually when you're in that darkness, like David said, that feeling of love. You don't feel all alone. You feel alone, but not all alone. You feel that love, and that's one of the biggest things of all. And it's an unconditional love, and that is where all creation is. So this is the thing, David. I want to kind of jump a little bit, because if that's where all creation is, and if that's where we are creating from, then what is all this physical stuff around us?
Well, Alena, they say that if you took all of the physical material in the universe, in the galaxy, in infinity, if you
Hmm.
condense that material down, that would be a point on the edge of a needle, an
Isn't
edge
that
of a
so
needle.
cool? I've heard that. That just blows my mind every time I hear it. I love it.
It's true. It
Yeah,
is so
it is.
true
Yeah,
because 99% of our reality is darkness, is space,
it's
is
supposed to be.
distance.
Yes, yes, our
It
real
is.
reality. Yeah,
It absolutely is. It is. And when you go
yeah,
multidimensional, after the fifth dimension, you become God. You become pure consciousness. You have no
yeah,
physical
exactly.
principles or properties. But in the fifth dimension, what we teach people is you're already in the fourth dimension, which has time. The next level up is the fifth dimension with no time, no beginning,
Hmm.
no end,
That's
no
right.
past, present, or future. It's where the Akashic Library is, the
Hmm.
Akashic Library of
Hmm.
Records, which is the dormitory, the data warehouse of all
All light.
intelligence and
Yeah.
all consciousness. So
Yes. Yeah.
it's
How can
the
people
magic.
find? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Elena, the magical moments you say are exactly that. It's
Yeah,
magic all around you,
it's
and
magic
you
all
have
around you.
the wand. You have the magical, the angel dust, the
Yeah,
magic dust.
the
You
fairy
you
dust.
you are the musician. You are
Yeah,
everything.
you
And
are
so you can create.
absolutely.
The people right now may be in trouble, and they may be stressed, and they may be fearful. And what the magical moment is that we have the address where home is for everybody and where the soul is, and it's 0.00 absolute. And we have the GPS. It's easy to go there, and you can go
Very
there
easy.
now. You
Very
don't have
easy.
to
Yeah,
do anything. You can be there now. The
yeah.
moment of now is where the power is.
I love it. How can people learn more and find out more about you?
We're making a documentary film, and it's called Biodome. But the
Mm.
biodome is based on the 0.00 absolute as being a fixed. In mathematics, the problem is there's nothing fixed. We don't even know what zero is, quite honestly. We've never proved that zero exists. And we haven't proved that infinity exists. We know that our universe is expanding, but we thought it was slowing down. Now we know the universe is expanding faster.
Yeah.
It's not slowing down.
Mm-mm.
So our realities are totally abundant and expansive. So, the Biodome movie, it covers this area in Brazil because the Biodome is going to be launched here. It's a technology center, communication station, and platform. It uses the state of the art healing methods with electromagnetic resonance and frequency. And when we can heal everybody and everything, there is no disease at 0.00 absolute. There is nothing.
Yeah.
Disease does not exist. Disease
No,
is
it
a
doesn't.
man-made concept.
It
We
really
created
is.
that. So for
Yeah.
people to learn more about who I am, David the Indian, the Biodome Project, 0.00 absolute, and many, many other topics, just stay in touch with Alena, Magical Moments. If this is on
Yes.
YouTube,
Yeah.
make some comments, ask some questions, be engaged,
Yes.
give your attention to this because it's going to be the greatest thing you ever learn in your life.
Yeah.
When you
It is
go
very
to
cool.
this 0.00 absolute,
Yeah.
you will never forget
No.
because love, you're
You.
going to be in the ocean of love, Alena. And so,
Yeah.
I have a Facebook. I use Facebook mostly. I'm very transparent on social media. But if
Right.
people want, they can look me up at David Ferdinand, like the bull. and you'll see my profile is a picture of Evolution Island, and you'll see Association Echo Park and in the different links. So, and then you can send
Very
a
cool.
message to me. I'd be happy to talk to everybody and help
And we'll
everybody.
probably have you on more close to when you do that documentary, just to get people aware of it. Okay. Namaste, everyone.